My bones are definitely feeling it. Oh, good, good, good. Yeah, the bots like to steal the brain cell. Ceribot is the one I'll forgive for it, considering how much good work he does for us. Excuse me. I guess the hiccups decided to visit. I also had two, oh, I must have saved in the middle of the day. I don't do that very often. I must have had, I had a smoothie for breakfast and then mac and cheese for lunch, though. And that's a lot of, milk for me, so I have a feeling I'm gonna be beefing with my tummy later. Whoopsie. Alright. I probably took care of everything on the farm already if it's 11. Yeah. So why don't we do some mines? Because last time, last episode, we actually, um, finished cleaning the entire deep sea, which was like a big thing. This will be a big thing too if we manage to get through all the mines. I've never finished the fire mines before in any of my saves. So, I'm doing okay-ish, friend. Also, welcome back. I'm gonna play some Coral Island for a bit and then probably get a little nap in. I think that'll be alright. I'm hoping then tomorrow we can do the same vibes so that we can finish our page. Right now, just doing multiple different things helps a lot because then I'm not like in the same position the whole time. And in any case, I always have my ice packs and my heat packs, which is essentially what they suggest for a pinched nerve anyways, so just kind of continuing with my usual. Plus a little extra gardening to get through. No, truly, I wouldn't survive without ice packs and heat packs. They are single-handedly the only reason I'm like a semi-functional human being. Genuinely. And shout out to Reddit for teaching us. Toasty and I were having such trouble with getting ice packs and then them breaking. So then we researched what ice packs they use in physical therapy places, because obviously those get used a lot as well. And these ones have been so durable. Nice. Alright, let's see if there's anything else important here before we leave. Probably want to smack these orange ones. See if we can get these osimiums. And right now I have to be very gentle when I use my yoga ball because I don't want to stretch things out too much at the moment. But honestly, all of my empathy to people who deal with regular nerve pain, like consistently. I only have this, I think, right now because one of my nerves is currently pinched, is from what I can tell. I mean, I do understand conceptually you just wind up getting used to whatever your norm is, but I am very empathetic to those of you who deal with nerve pain on a regular basis because this shit is not fun. Definitely worse than my usual, just like sore muscle pain which does suck, but it's not as acute. Surprised this little level looks different for some reason, even though we're in the same 5. And then when we get to 25, you have to do... No, is it? Yeah, 25, I think? Somewhere you have to do like 10 levels in a row. 30 to 40, maybe? Thankfully, it mostly hurts... Well, not thankfully, but mostly hurts, honestly, when I'm trying to go lay down. Because I want to sleep on my side, which has not been working, but... At least during the day, if I'm on my heat pack, it's not like the worst. It's just not great. Yeah, I've always gotten some of that, like... I've dealt with, like, nerve tingles and stuff like that. Before this one. I've always described it as feeling like my nerves are too short, almost. Like they're so tight that they feel like they're being stretched. Like when I stretch certain ways, I can feel that sensation. But this is much more of like a sharper pain that goes down my arm that like is newer to me. Because I tried to massage it thinking it was sore muscles, but I think it was actually a pinched nerve, and the pinched nerve was like, who do you think you are? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I was trying to make it better. That usually makes it better. Sorry. I didn't know. Hello, Micus, welcome in. I'm sorry so many of you relate. Yeah, I agree with that, It's like they make the inflammation go down, which is nice, but they don't get all the way to the nerve because that's so deep. Have any bombs, or can I make some without wasting too many materials? Yeah, we can sacrifice a little bit of silver ore. I don't want to do too much though. Just a bunch clumped up here. Ugh. Empathy to all my nerve pain friends. Well, any chronic pain really, but right now I just feel extra empathy to the nerve pain friends. And I feel salty that this all started with me gently stretching in the morning like I'm supposed to. Like I've been instructed to. I'm like, this is why I get mad when doctors are like, just exercise more. And I'm like, okay, well, I gently stretched and then I had a pinched nerve for a week and a half, so I'm like not feeling super confident about physical fitness. Sue me. Enjoy your lurk, Em. Oh, I had this open that whole time? Dang, out here smacking rocks, I don't even need to. Whoa, the lava looks so cool though, holy shit. I can't remember if I've seen that before and I just forgot, or if I've not gotten... I don't think I've gotten this far. That lava looks so cool, wow. Told me to push through the pain, like, yeah, sure, but that's what my pain doctor said too, and I was like... I feel like that's, like, truly the antithesis of your whole job as a pain doctor. Like, not to be rude, but have you experienced pain? Because I feel like if you have truly experienced pain, you're not just gonna tell people to basically work through it. Yeah, he also said he doesn't treat patients like me, because my pain is moves throughout my body and isn't consistent in one spot where I got injured or something. So, oh, that would be good, Micus. Fingers crossed for you, friend. Yeah. Thank you for the hydrate, pal. Hi, Jazz. I have like one last rebrand thing to do. It's not something that's gonna be done before the day of, but sorry, Micus. The reason that your message was held is because of the word dumb. We hold any casually ableist terms to try to encourage us all to remember, because I know it's easy to forget, to try not to say them. So just a gentle reminder you're not in trouble or anything like that. But yes, you're so real for what you said in terms of them ignoring it. And it's so weird because I feel like pain is one of the most common and impactful symptoms in terms of people's quality of life. Like, there's not a great quality of life when you are spending every day in pain. I'm not trying to be super negative, but I just, obviously a lot of people were expressing relating. So, just like the reality of this sometimes. I obviously want to try to provide a space for folks to have a little bit of an escape. And at the same time, like, I would be remiss not to be honest that there are these days that are just like not easy when you're someone who deals with chronic illness and chronic pain. Because otherwise, people ask me, they're like, B, I'm chronically ill and I struggle with X, Y, and Z, and it seems like you're able to do it all. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Let me not provide a fake sense of reality, because trust me, I am not doing it all. This is like I was talking to Toasty yesterday, and say like how right now I can't get comfortable when I'm lying in bed, but I do kind of need to lay down. Sometimes, like, I can't sit up all the time with this nerve pain with the way that it is. And they had like a comment that I was just like, oh yes, like, I appreciate that you get it, even though it's not necessarily what you experience. Of just like, that's what a lot of people who don't experience chronic pain don't really understand, is like, they think, oh, you're just laying in bed, and they're like, oh, I would love to spend my day bed rotting. But it's like, laying in bed in pain, can't get comfortable, can't really do your hobbies very well, maybe a little bit of it, and just literally laying there bored, sore, guilty, shouldn't be guilty, but we all feel it, is not the same thing as fun bed rotting. I promise. I do fun bed rotting too. It's different. Yeah, frustrating's a great replacement, I guess, and thank you for being open to the feedback. I appreciate that. That's all I really ask of folks. Because I get it. We've been taught so many words in our language that have problematic histories, that it can be a lot to remember them all, especially if you're like me and you have memory struggles. So, no judgment. Just appreciate you being open and adjusting. Yeah, and we were also talking about, ooh, we got a fancier sword. We being me and Toasty, we're talking about how doctors particularly seem to struggle with pain that is doesn't come with like a visible symptom. Because like, if you have a visible symptom, Not to say that people with visible disabilities always get the help they need either. I do know that, like, from lots of friends I have, you can even be like in a wheelchair or struggling with like a very visible rash, or sometimes pain is very visible and you still don't get what you need. But I feel like it's extra hard to get doctors to take you seriously if there's nothing visual for them to see to show the pain that you're describing, especially if you're an AFAB person or plus size and or person of color. I feel like when you have those like amplifying identities on top of not having a visible symptom, it can be like so hard to get your pain like even acknowledged. Oh my god, this sword is so good. I just need to upgrade this pickaxe. Which I keep saying, but then I have to give up access to my pickaxe for 2 days and I don't want to. You see how that's not really working out in my favor. Yes, that as well. Doctors, I do my fair share of complaining on here, and for their individual failings or responsibilities, but also they are dealing with a lot of systemic struggles as well. Like, I talk to Toasty often about the fact that um sometimes your doctor is making you jump through a hoop because of insurance. Like, they have to check this before they can give you that, even though you both agree that that would be better for you right now. For example, you might have to go through one medication before going to the next medication unless you can somehow prove to insurance that you need the other one first, and that can be quite difficult. And so sometimes your doctors are having you go through these hoops, and that's not really their fault, it's like insurance's fault. But my issue is, I just wish that more doctors, I mean, maybe this is me being autistic because I really like direct communication, but I wish that more doctors would just say that outright. Hey, I know that this step is annoying and it's asking you to do something that you probably don't want to do, that's a little extra tedious and that we both know is not really necessary. Unfortunately, insurance says I have to have you do this first. And just that level of understanding what's going on would reduce my frustration a lot with them. It's not to say that having to go through those steps wouldn't still be annoying, and like, especially as someone with low spoons, the fact that we have to jump through hoops that take up more of our time, spoons, and energy, like, that sucks. But at least I would know like why I was doing it. I hate when they keep the patient in the dark and then they're like, well, why are you frustrated with me? I'm like, because what are we doing all these hoops for? Like, just communicate. And I just think that would be so much better. I remember when I had just had major surgery, Achilles lengthening, and partial foot amputation, and my high strength pain meds were doing nothing for the extreme amounts of pains I'm in. My mom recognized my pain, thank God, and called the nurse and my surgeon. And the nurse asked, well, what is Aaron doing? My mom said they're on their phone, and the nurse goes, well, they must be fine. And my mom was like, no, that is literally all they can do. You don't understand. I know. Oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you, though. That's so annoying. Like, yeah, okay, being on my phone somehow means my foot's not in pain. Like, make it make sense. There's this person on TikTok that's unfortunately being like harassed and bullied right now because they were talking about how hard it is to get access to disability, like disability funding, and all the steps you have to take to like prove that you can't work, and how like exhausting those steps can be, especially as someone with like low spoons and stuff already. And the comments have just been so horrendous. I don't know why they're getting dogpiled on so bad. They're getting put on like those sites that I was getting put on and stuff during the whole Stardew thing as well. And it's really sad because a lot of the comments are from other disabled people, and there are these other disabled people saying like, oh, well, I have this condition and that condition, or these symptoms and that symptom, and I can work. and so you should be able to work. And then of course there's also like able-bodied people who really have nothing to speak on in terms of just being like, well, it should be hard so that they can wean out people like you who just don't want to work even though they could. Meanwhile, this person has ME/CFS, myalgic encephalomyelitis, which is a very severe debilitating disease that only gets better with extreme rest, and will get worse progressively if you over push yourself. So this person is trying to do what's best for their health so that they're not constantly experiencing PEM, which is post-exertional malaise, which is like the negative ramifications folks with ME/CFS get from using too much of their physical or mental energy, which can be things as simple as showers, brushing your teeth, making a video. Like, all of that could be enough to put them in PEM depending on how severe their case is. But then again, these people who comment, they don't even probably know what ME/CFS is. They think like, oh, you're tired because you have a fatigue condition. It's like so much more than that. So much more than that. But I really hate when it's other disabled people, because it's like, yeah, buddy, you know, number one, you're working because you physically can. I understand that it's not pleasant for you. I get it. I'm not denying that. However, there are people who are so disabled that they physically cannot work. There are also people who are like me, who like, they could physically get a job, but they would just progressively get worse over time doing so, and they want to preserve some of their function, which I can also understand. And then there's also the conversation of, hey bestie, maybe what you're mad about is the fact that you have to work despite being in immense amounts of pain and having no energy for any other part of your life. Maybe you're mad that you have to work instead of being mad, and understandably, but maybe we don't direct that energy at this other disabled person who did nothing wrong to you, who's just trying to survive in capitalism as someone who can't work. So like, hello. Like, you're mad at the wrong person. You're directing your energy at the wrong person. Ugh, I only need one more level to unlock the elevator. I don't want to redo all these, but it's almost 1 a.m. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Thank you. It wants us to blame each other, exactly. Because frankly, even if that person wasn't disabled and they just didn't want to work, I actually don't care. Fun fact. Even if you're right, I don't think you are, but even if you're right, and they could work and they just don't want to, they should still have their basic needs met. They should still be able to afford to feed themselves and access like healthcare and all the basics needed, even if they just don't want to work. Sorry to tell you, I know that's not what you want to hear. Not you guys. I obviously know you guys understand, but yeah, the systemic root causes, exactly. Yeah, people get like big preconceived notions in their head from media sometimes about what conditions look like too, and because media has portrayed autism so often by cis white males who particularly have the very smart, successful, like genius brand of autism, and there's nothing wrong with that version of autism, to be super crystal clear, but like they present that as if that's the only version of autism to exist. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, y'all haven't had game audio. My bad. Y'all can yell at me when that happens. I want you to be able to hear the little sounds. I forgot what I was saying. The Halloween festival, I thought I did that already. Is it multiple days, maybe? That's okay, you don't have to proofread. You're good. Or is this different from the one where I did the pumpkin smashing? Oh no, it's different. Okay. That must have been like the fall festival. Anybody could become disabled at any time. In fact, you're very likely to, because we're doing nothing to protect you or anybody else, including future generations of children, from a debilitating virus. Oh. Gosh, I feel like I'm a downer today. I'm so sorry. I am. But also, it's the truth, unfortunately. I also tried to explain Aspie supremacy to her yesterday because I got diagnosed with it yesterday in Germany. Will absolutely say I'm autistic. Germany is way behind in this stuff, but at least I got a diagnosis. Yeah. I don't ever, like, blame people for, like... I try to be gentle on folks when explaining that for the first time if there's someone who was diagnosed with it, because I do get that it could be very confusing to have a medical professional tell you, hey, this is your diagnosis, and then have people around you be like, that's not an accurate diagnosis, and you're like, what? It is still something for people to learn, of course, but I do understand how that can create some confusion for some autistic folks. I'm glad you tried to teach her about it, though. Resident in the nursing home I work at who doesn't use some sort of mobility aid, no one is immune from illness and disability. Exactly. Exactly. It's just a human thing that can happen to anybody. And it's sad because I don't want people to only care about disability because they might become disabled. Like, I just wish we lived in a world where people had a lot more empathy for communities that they might not be a part of but are affected by things, you know? I'm not affected by every single issue I care about, but I still care about it because I see my fellow people, humans, being, like, harmed by these systems. But at the same time, if nothing else is gonna get to you, I will at least try to remind you that you could also experience all this ableism you like to perpetuate. Oh, I see. Having a diagnosis of autism, countries can deny you for it, yeah. Yep, that's true, Queermint. A lot of times, also hi Jennifer, a lot of times, with COVID, for a number of reasons, but a lot of times what's actually written down in, like, the death report is the symptom that is the main cause of their death rather than COVID, which is the cause of the symptom, unfortunately. So then a lot of people will be like, oh, well, you know, there's not that many deaths from COVID. And it's like, okay. Yeah, because they don't write it that way, but that doesn't mean that's not what's instigating it. Yippee! Congrats on finishing your errand, friend. Let's go. Errands. Hi, Oats. Welcome back. More people end up disabled than not disabled, so then being ableist, they're hurting themselves. Exactly. And that can be said about, like, any form of, like, isms, right? Like, Samira on TikTok has been talking a lot about how fat phobia hurts us all. I know it's a black truffle mushroom, but it really looked like there was a poop on the floor in my barn for a second there. For a moment of humor. Pigs do be pooping. Exactly, Aaron, exactly. Yes, we have a green and a gold cow now. Oh, my inventory's full. Yeah. It's okay, I'm gonna let these guys out anyway. I'm trying to get as much Coral Island in as I can right now. Not saying we're like leaving Coral Island or anything, but we are gonna be adding a couple of other games into rotation soon, which just means that we won't be able to play as often. So I'm sneaking it in now. Because we're gonna be starting Fields of Mystria soon. With the 1.0 update. And then we're gonna be starting Moonstone Island save. And then on August 5th, we're supposed to be getting the Pokopia update too, so we're gonna have a lot of games to play. Anywho. Soon. Dal traced it back to her diabetes and kidney failure. My workplace can be supportive of some things, but golly, they can be ignorant about others. Yeah. It ultimately winds up being on disabled people to educate a lot, unfortunately. Even though I wish that were not the case. I think a lot of people don't realize how common disability is. I have people in my life who don't necessarily know I'm disabled and don't make me feel safe disclosing that. Yeah. I don't communicate about my disability a whole lot amongst certain spaces either. So I definitely get that. Just doesn't always feel safe, unfortunately. So sorry, pal, the amount of people that tell me I just don't want to walk, as if I wasn't an avid hiker before chronic pain set in. I was like, you try walking around with no toes, go ahead, see how it feels. Ugh, yeah. Story about how my job at the public defender's office ended. Oh yeah, Shake. Whenever you feel ready, I'm open to it. Been scared to get diagnosed for being on the spectrum. I know I am, and I would like to understand more on it, but I don't want to be gaslit by medical professionals or lose some aid benefits. Well, here I will say you will always be respected as valid, even through self-diagnosis. I think I would be wild not to respect people's self-diagnosis, considering how much medical gaslighting I've experienced myself. Gaslighting and, like, just... There's a lot of, like, just lack of action I've experienced where, like, sometimes it's not even that they gaslight you, it's just, like, they don't do anything. The amount of appointments I go to that wind up being, like, useless to my time is actually, like, bonkies. So, I, will always accept folks' self-diagnosis here, because I get it. Getting the diagnosis is wildly difficult sometimes, even though it should not be. I just found a physio clinic that sounds really good. They specialize in connective tissue disorders and have telehealth appointments and have a little note about accommodations for ADHD and ASD and gender affirming care. Oh, that sounds so good. I hope that works out for you. I have a friend, we haven't been as close lately because of stuff like this, who texted me asking about who my disability lawyer was because then I quote, I hate working, bro. And it's like, I wish I could work like normal and have a solid income and do things I can't do. Yeah, exactly. Hi, Meg. Welcome in. How are you? We did a random quote earlier, and it was your quote, so we were thinking about you. That part too. I'm tired of wasting my time at doctor's offices because I'm mostly waiting. Yeah, like you're waiting, and even if the wait times aren't bad, do you know how many appointments I've been to where they're like, yeah, we just had to do like an appointment consultation, but we're not actually doing anything at this appointment. You'll have to come back for another appointment for us to actually do anything. And I'm like, oh my word. I do not have the time or the spoons for this. Why? What is the point? At work, people make such a big deal about my eating habits. Like, oh my gosh, you eat 10 things, you never eat fruits and veggies. She's a waffle girl because of my very small food preferences due to sensory issues. And I'm like, guys, please, I do not want to be perceived and I don't want to have to explain everything. And I'm in ED recovery, so talking about eating habits is kind of rough for me. I literally don't know what makes people think. Also, I'm sorry for the behind on chat. What makes people think it's appropriate to comment on other people's eating, especially in a professional work environment? I don't know you like that. I don't know you like that. We're colleagues. Then that does not mean you should be commenting on what I'm eating. What makes you think that that's appropriate? In what world? I remember at this job that I had, they would like make comments on sometimes on like the food that I was eating because I was like plus size. And I didn't even think a lot of times it was intentional, but they both like had an interest, I guess, in like nutrition and stuff, but it didn't come across like a polite way, nor should you be talking about somebody else's food. Like, you can talk about your own food if you really must. Well, like, I remember one time my supervisor picked up the bag of chips I was eating. Mind you, I'm pretty sure that day, not that it matters, it could be literally any reason that I could have just wanted to eat it, but I'm pretty sure I had forgotten like part of my lunch that day, so I went down to the vending machine to get like something to supplement my lunch with so that I would be like full. Anyway, she picks up the bag of chips I'm eating and literally starts like reading the like nutrition facts on the back and basically telling me her judgments on how she thinks that like this is like not a healthy option or something. It was a long time ago, so in terms of remembering exactly how it went down, like I don't remember exactly, but like, girl, what makes that appropriate for you to pick up my food and start like commenting? Like, get out of here. Oh, it's the, I call it the Halloween festival because we don't use that word in this community, but obviously I can't change the name in the game. But I can't go to the shops because of it, and it's not even till 7 p.m. So why you block me from the shops? It's okay, I'll do some gifting while I'm out and about. Week is finally a normal week of nothing going on except for Ren Fair this weekend. Oh my gosh, when I finally had my first normal week after weeks of chaos, Meg, I was so excited. I relate to you. I wish working a regular full-time desk job wasn't slowly melting my brain, but here we are, bud. Yes. I had people making fun of my same food at work because it was the easiest to purchase and I knew it tastes great. So what? So exhausting. Yeah. Like, just be glad I'm eating some food, okay? Like, get out of here. My gosh, I told her just to try to tell me to eat foods I don't like. You should not be able to be a nutritionist and not know what ARFID is. It affects so many people. I'd lose my job by telling her off. Don't worry. Good news was I knew her since I was in the 6th grade, so I did often tell her off. And good news is I didn't lose my job. Because she would know I was right. I eat my baked spaghetti in peace. Yeah, I hate that, because what do you don't know about his life. Maybe that's the only access to food that he has. Probably because this job probably doesn't pay him enough. Wait, you know what? I'm sorry to gasp. I just realized that we unlocked some new areas last time we ended and we haven't looked at them yet. Like this little... Look at the capybara! I don't think I can talk to him, but... I've never unlocked this before, I don't think. This little part behind the hot spring. Look at him! Wow! Criticize on the guise of health, truly. Like, I worked at Starbucks, and for a while, before the boycott, but also if you have to work there even during the boycott, I understand. But I worked there for a while, and I wasn't making very much money at all because I got really little hours because I was really struggling with my disability at that point. And basically all I ate was the free Starbucks food they would give me because that's like really all I had money for. And people would sometimes be so judgy if like you're just like eating this like frozen sandwich every day. I'm like, yeah, that's what I have money for. Are you paying for my lunch? I'm poor because of you and disability. So like, are you gonna fix it? And if the answer is no, then zip it, lock it, put it in your pocket. Like, for real. I will do it with stars so that you can be a part of the conversation. Hopefully that will be like enough for you to understand. Yeah, and it has a racist background, especially the shorthand version of it. Yeah, there's a lot of overlap in ARFID and autism, with like safe foods and stuff like that. It's not super surprising if you have one that you might have the other. Not a guarantee, obviously, but... Thank you, Oat. And you're welcome, pal. I think it's like also knowing what kind of relationship you have with that person and whether or not like where they're at with food things and stuff. Like I will give Toasty a gentle heckle now and again that they always order the same foods from restaurants. But they also know I would never genuinely care or judge them. You know, like they're not actually worried that I'm like upset that they're eating the same thing. Ooh, nice. We got a bug that we hadn't had before. I think that everyone's gonna be in costumes for the Halloween event, which is fun. No, you're good. That's why I was like, let me just find a way to clarify, because I do want it to be accessible information at least. we're getting a cutscene with Macy. Cute. Hello, Locket. Good to see you. Is that a blue lobster? Yep. Meet Steven. Does she have a blue lobster as a pet? He's a rescue. I saw him at the beach in front of the inn, just lying there. I thought he was dead at first, but thankfully he only injured his claw. So I took him in. Hopefully his claw will re-grow soon and he'll be able to go back to the ocean with his family. No, that's so fresh. Hi, June. Welcome in. How are you? Tease my family or friends like smashing my kid and partner, but I get angry at the public for making people feel bad about their food or disabilities. Yeah, and I feel the same, Banana. As someone who has actively been on food stamps, currently we're not because the process is literally so horrendous. Wait, look at him! It's a little frog hat. That's so cute. The game just giving us cute vibes in the background. Respectfully, the process of getting on food stamps is so difficult and such a pain that I really doubt that very many people are like faking the system or whatever. And if they need it that bad that they're willing to go through that process, I honestly don't mind. It's really so stressful and so hard to do that. Like, if you're willing to go through that process, I'm just going to respectfully assume that you need it, even if the government thinks you don't need it. Oh my god, she's so pretty. I know she's always like, she's always pretty, but she's got this pretty ass costume on now too. I think I might want to date her, but I haven't decided for sure. But hey, they came with the costume, so technically they're free. Let me give her a gift. And then maybe we ask her to hang out? Oh, we can't because of the event going on. That's okay. I'll give him a gift too. The more you give people gifts, then the more like friendship you build with them. 7 p.m. Still can't go there yet. So slow. You're so real for that banana mood. Ooh, we have a little ad break. Okay, I'm not gonna put like the full BRB on, but I am gonna stand up and stretch a little bit. Yes, the disability process can be like, when people go in for disability, a lot of times they're told that they like can expect it to take years and they need a lawyer if they can afford it to have a chance. Yeah. Which is like obscene. So that's when like people say that someone's faking their disability and they're on disability in the US. I don't know enough about other countries to know how it works. But like, if you are on disability in the US and someone's like, "Oh, you're faking," I'm like, "You don't know what disability is like." Not even a little bit. Because the capacity to possibly fake that process, like, it would actually be incredibly difficult. Like, it's so hard that it would be very, very, very difficult to actually be pretending. Like, it's, I don't think people understand. I saw a creator make a very similar video with a very similar point about immigration as well, which I would be remiss not to point out. Obviously, it's not something that directly impacts me as of right now, but like she was making essentially the same point of the fact that, oh my gosh, the girls are in there just by themselves. That's so cute. I don't think I've ever seen them just like hanging out in there like that. That people talk about the right way and the wrong way, quote unquote, to do immigration without realizing that the quote unquote, which I can dig into that even more about how that is problematic, but also you just objectively, if you're saying stuff like that, have not actually gone through any kind of part of the immigration process, because if you had, you would know it's an atrocious process that's incredibly difficult to get through, that takes years and lawyers, and even if you do everything right, you still might not get accepted. Like, it's actually ridiculous, and then people act like there's just so many people out here scamming disability and immigration. I'm like, okay, tell me you don't know what you're talking about without telling me you don't know what you're talking about. Clearly. Learning undergrad that the US spends more on policing disability payments than we do on disability payments, and that's like something that broke in me. I guess I didn't know that officially, but I'm also not surprised, sadly. Disappointed, of course, but I wish I could say I'm surprised, but I'm just not. It's like we love policing things. I feel like that's true about so many things, too. It's probably cheaper to just give people UBI than it is to police all the people on, like, food stamps and stuff, but yet, still. Hard and expensive, and I see so many uneducated people bitching about it, yeah. Like, you go through the process and then maybe I'll consider listening to something you have to say. It's not illegal to seek asylum, no. And people are getting snatched at their literal appointments to do things the quote-unquote correct way. So, let's not talk about not act like the system's fair. Oh, well, I'm so happy you were able to get into that program, Minnie. I'm proud of you for seeking that out, and I'm glad that you were able to find care. Because you're right, it can be really hard to find care for eating disorder related things if you're not like significantly underweight. But I can validate that you can struggle with eating habits and not necessarily be an underweight person. I myself struggle with eating habits to this day, and I'm a plus size person, so I get you. People are willfully ignorant sometimes, honestly. Like, there was this whole conversation happened recently about this lovely black creator. Her name is Davin, and she makes a lot of different like lifestyle type videos, but sometimes she makes like food related videos, and she's such a sweetheart. I mean, I don't know her personally, but you know when you can just tell through the phone even that someone just has such a good soul. And she made a video talking about how she made like a late night snack plate for herself, and she's talked on her page about having struggles with eating before, so it's not like an unknown thing either. And she talked about making herself a snack plate, and the plate had like two things, like two grilled cheese sandwiches, some like chocolates, some crackers, like I don't remember exactly what, some fruit. Like it was like a full plate of snacks. Okay, I think like one of my charcuterie boards. And people were just harassing her over the fact that she called it a snack plate. And they're like, that's not a snack plate, that's a whole meal. Because of course they are, because she's a plus size woman. Meanwhile, I guarantee you if she was skinny, nobody would be harassing her for that. But, okay. You're so worried about her health, the health of a person you don't even know. But here's where I say that people are like very willfully ignorant sometimes. Because in the video, she literally says, that she hadn't eaten anything else all day. So yeah, she calls it a snack plate. Sure, it's more food than most people would consider a snack. Do you need to comment that and harass her? Like, no. She said right in the video that that was her first meal of the day. You know she struggles with food stuff. Like, leave this girl alone. I'm glad she nourished her body by the end of the day. She probably spent all day struggling to get her brain to let her do that, only for y'all to be shitty as hell to her. Like, there's no nuance on the internet sometimes. So, like, read between the lines. She made it quite clear for you, even, honestly. I wouldn't even necessarily say it's that between the lines. Like, it just really, did it hurt you that she called it a snack plate? Or could you have disagreed in your head for 2 seconds and moved on with your day? You know how many things I disagree with on the internet? So many. Do I actually comment on all those things? No. What is going on here? I don't know if I remember this cutscene from the last time that I played this. I remember that ring toss being hard as hell, though. I don't know if it's any easier now. Alright. We will try to talk to everybody. I should have brought in my flowers to gift people, but that's okay. Oh, you know what? I'm kind of a Scott hater, but I actually think it's very cute that he dressed up as the mayor. That's funny. Don't tell him this, but Dad's not good with scary things. That's why he hated the haunted house. It's interesting. Some people are in costumes, but not everybody, which is like a fun little detail. Oh, Macy, you look so pretty. How am I supposed to choose between all these pretty ladies? It's a little hard to move in this costume, but sometimes fashion requires sacrifice. No, I can't with Scott. He drives me bonkers how he, like, makes... Like, he comes up with ideas, and then he makes everybody around him do the work. And I'm like, Scott, can you pull your weight, please? He'll, like, schedule meetings, and then he doesn't show up to his own meeting on time. I'm like, you're a punk. I don't really hate him, but I could never date him. That's for sure. I need polyamory in this game. Me too. People have asked about it, and they were very kind about how they expressed it. Oh my god, she's dressed up as Where's Waldo? Shaim, I love you for that. That looks so good. Oh yeah, they're blueberries. Cute. What was I saying? Oh, they were like, we would love to add that for y'all. Like, it's nothing against polyamory. It would just severely complicate the amount of dialogue we would need to like create to make that work. Oh my gosh, wait, I don't even think all these people had outfits when I played last. What do you mean he's dressed as SpongeBob? Oh gosh. Heads up, avoid Sam. I was talking to him earlier and he can't seem to stop complaining about the town code. I think he's had it with Mr. Mayor. They're already struggling with the jealousy system. I imagine coding a polygon system would get really buggy too. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen other games like Palia go with like you can date up to like 3 people or something like that. And I would love even if they did something of that nature. Like even if they limited it. I know like full polyamory would be like the ideal situation, obviously, but I would take like an in-between if like given the opportunity. You do like Waku and Raphael? Yeah, those are great options. Toasty did Waku before, and I have done Raphael before. It's the little ghost guy again. Raphael's just such a sweet pea. Such a little sweet pea. Soft lad. Yeah, I'm sorry they've been pushing that on you, Jen. Frank dressed up as himself. He's so boring. Aaliyah, I love your little like robot costume, alien costume. I don't know, but it's chef's kiss. Not gonna lie. To make sure I don't miss anybody to say hello to. Kira, why are you such a grumpy? Oh my god, they have Eva as Tinkerbell. Oh my goodness. And Raj, look at them. In like a jester outfit. And Lily, that's like giving like Sailor Moon meets like Catgirl. Hi, Pixel. Welcome in. How are you? Oh, I remember this. This freaked me out the first time. I don't like that thing. Oh, Jim.